not like I ever had a conscious thought that I wanted to be a writer. I just started writing when I was about 15 or 16. I actually, even as a kid, hung around with a lot of artists who could actually tell stories with just pictures, and I could never do it. And I remember it was, you know, what was really strange about it was that I was a horrible, horrible student, and I wouldn't do anything in class, but I would sit and write my short stories. I remember one teacher, one English teacher in particular, getting really frustrated with me because I wouldn't do any of the schoolwork, but I was writing, you know, had a whole notebook full of short stories, and just one thing led to another, you know. And before I knew it, I was a writer.
Wow, I think I started painting when I was around 7 or 8. The things that I painted bothered a lot of people. You know, there's a lot of concern about me and what God I worshipped. But regardless of like the teachers and the parents that were telling me that I was doing something wrong, there was always like a definitely warm sense that I was doing something right. And you know, then, you know, through subsequent events in my life, art was more or less taken from me by different ideologies and the fact that I needed to get my head right and so forth. And it took me a really long time to get back to it. But once I found it again, it was amazing. At this stage in my life, there's absolutely nothing that could take painting away from me. Nothing.
I decided I was an artist one way or another from the age of 4 or 5. I always say that art chooses you, you don't choose it. It's within you, and once it's within you, it never leaves you. You just have to feel the urge to create no matter what. Drawing and creating and doing art will never leave me. No matter what I end up doing, it'll always be creative, and I'll always go back to those drawings probably I did with my grandfather, the biggest things, inspirations.
Ben and I are going to work together again. I honestly don't think 30 Days a Night would have gotten the same reaction had I had another artist. Ben's stuff makes people a little uncomfortable, and it drives me nuts. A lot of people put out horror comics and they look exactly like superhero comics. Same palette, same everything, you know, but when you do horror with Ben, it looks like a horror movie. Ben isn't happy with status quo, you know, he always wants to push things a little further and try to find some little niche that hasn't been done before. And that's always, I mean, that's where you want to be. You always want to be moving forward, you know, with anything you do, and Menton lends that, it gives us that opportunity.
Menton Matthews III is a force of nature, and I don't know, he brings an intensity to his work that I don't think many people can match. I've shared a studio with him long enough that it was about time that we started collaborating on something that suits the both of us, but at the same time lets us remain distinct. I think that thing is probably lust, and it's about time. Working with Steve again kind of brings back a lot of things. We kind of defined our careers by the first pretty much work I did. He was my gateway into comics. I don't know, it's nostalgic in one way, and at the same time it's rife with possibilities in that we made magic happen once. Perhaps we can make it happen again, at least in some small way, and I'll be happy.
Lust will be a prose book, a comic book, and an art book, all in one. It'll be a 9 by 12 inch hardcover in 48 pages. Ben will have a cover and start on one end. Menton will have a cover and start on the other end. And through their exploration, they'll meet at the center of the book. Now, all of this is going to be bound by Steve's writing. It'll be prose, it'll be poetry, it'll be sequential storytelling. Some of the things that you've seen from him before and some new things that you haven't.
So as you can see, this is a very different kind of project. We're mixing prose, art book, and comic into one thing. But as me and Ben and Steve have explored the project thus far, it's been a very natural process. But on the flip side, this is a type of project that if we pitch it to a major publisher, most of them aren't going to be that interested because it's very different. So that's why we've decided to come here and pitch the book to you.
My name's Nick. I'll be managing the Lust Kickstarter campaign. During the campaign, if there are any questions that any of you have about rewards or anything at all, please feel free to contact me at any time through email, and I'll be happy to help you out right away. And thank you very much.
Lust is a complex thing, and on one level it's fantastic and it's beautiful, and everyone wants to embrace it. It's an interesting thing because at one level it's beautiful, and on another level it's completely destructive. It's like a hurricane or a tornado.
One of the things that I've learned about Vice is that she's actually an amazing mother because she teaches you the virtue. If you enter this consciously, lust is never something you should be embarrassed of or ashamed of. In fact, you should revel in it.